Hello everyone, Gomez here. You know what time it is, I know what time it is. It's more reveals time. Let's get in and see what cards they have for us tonight. Obviously, we saw Pike earlier, earlier on in the day. So today's probably just going to be some follower cards or whatnot from potentially PNZ or whatnot. Let's find out as we get in and see what they got for us tonight. Ooh, okay, so it looks like we're gonna be getting some shurima, potentially a few different things. So let's just get in and see what they got for us on the first one. So PNZ, we're seeing PNZ shurima. It looked like I could see some build draw cards as well. So I mean, I love the artwork for this one already. I've got no idea. We'll get to what it says. We'll start where we are. So boom, whatever the hell, baboon. Which is when I'm summoned, create a flame charge. So, okay, so that is the one where if you discard it, it summons the 0/2 with challenge. So, like Jinx's thing. So potentially discard. It does have a big attack stat for which, like, because obviously, like, discard aggro is all about trying to get in those cheap cards, but also there's a lot of damage getting in there to either help with Draven or to help with Jinx. So potentially this could work out because it does give you something which you could then axe to then get out onto the board, which can then help you with your crowd favorite, because obviously he's all about having a big board, as well as having a nice attack. So that's not actually bad. Like I can see myself definitely putting this into some discard things, be it within discard aggro or be it just in a weird crazy Jinx deck that I might consider building in the future. So actually not a bad card too. Let's get on to this 10 mana card from PNZ with Victor. I can already see it. Glorious, like an evolution. Replace your cards everywhere with exact copies of themselves. But they have -1 cost, augment, and what? Okay, right. Let's just So number one, let's just work this all out. So number one, it makes everything in your deck cost 1 less. So it would replace all cards with exact copies of themselves, but they cost 1 less. They all have augment, which technically, it is replacing every single card with exact copies of themselves. So does that technically mean that every single card in your deck now adds on to augmented cards, because they're not technically the first cards in the deck? They are created cards. You've created a whole new your deck. So is that how that synergy works, in terms of you give everyone augment? But the little tiny bit on there is the fact and are now tech, which is actually very nice, because that works with Heimer. You know that Gomez, I love Heimer Digger. So the fact that this now makes everything in your deck tech, that means that every single card that you're placing should help level Heimer, regardless of using spells, regardless of using anything along those lines. But every single thing should technically mean that you are, as you play them, they are helping Heimer's level up. But not only that, that should also mean that Adaptatron, every single thing that you play, number one, you're going to be giving Adaptatron augment, unless obviously you already play Adaptatron, and then it's like if it's in the deck, it's going to have augment anyway. But any other keyword you play should give it to that, which then means if you have an Adaptatron on the board, he should then start giving all the keywords to every new unit that you put on the board. I mean, admittedly, this is locked out at 10 mana, so it's going to take you a long time to get here. But potentially using some kind of Freljord ramp deck to be able to get there as quickly as possible, or even being able to, so potentially you could consider this in a Poro deck with the new Poro, because obviously the new Poro gives all the Poros more keywords. But if you had an Adaptatron, it would also give it to everyone, as well as already having augment, which, like I said, every single Poro, which there are a few obviously Poro creation cards anyway, being it through the 0 cost Poro Cannon and a few other things like that. So there are actually potential synergies like that if you were to go for a ramp deck. My mind also goes towards maybe a stupid idea of doing an Aurelion Soul Targon's Peak deck running this, because imagine giving every if you could actually do this so that you had an Adaptatron, you then play the Reliant Soul, it then has Fury, Spell Shield, and whatnot, and then literally everything you're playing from that point on has got Fury and Spell Shield, plus as well if you're playing Give It All. I love this card, okay? I love this card for PNC, but it's because I love PNC in general, and there's so many different ideas. Yes, it's 10 mana, it's a slow speed spell. It's not going to be used in meta, it's going to be too slow. But for comedy decks, this is actually, or if you're trying to get to that late game, so I said like a potentially, as in a ramp deck with Freljord, you could even maybe consider, because obviously PNC Shadow Isles control used to be a thing, obviously until the Watcher came around. Like used to be actually an okay control deck using what's her face? Karina control. So maybe even that to get you to your late game. Whether or not, like, I don't know, there's certain things where you could use this and actually it might get some use that's going to be really funny. Oh, especially in Freljord. Throwing down Trundle and giving, like, you know, getting potentially, as I said, if you've got an Adaptatron, giving everything regeneration. And then I said, oh yes, I love glorious evolution indeed. Both, I love it. Right, that card has my love. Let's go on to the next one. So now we're into the Shurima cards, which is Shifting Sand, which is 6 mana slow speed. Deal 4 to a unit, and then summon 2 Sand Soldiers. So a little bit of Sand Soldiery goodness here, because obviously we do know there's other things which summon. Whether or not you're really going to be playing this, because let's face it, there's other, like, we need to remember it's 6 mana, which is a lot. It's slow speed, and it is only 4 damage, and admittedly 4 damage can be, and it is to a unit as well, by the way. That's the other thing to note about this, is it has to be to a unit. You can't just throw that 4 damage directly into the enemy Nexus. But for slow speed, 6 mana, like, it's whether or not, like, you can justify using that, if you know what I mean. Obviously, if you're using, like, some kind of crazy Sand Soldier deck, you might consider it, but it's not exactly, like, because let's face it, what's the 7 mana one who creates a bunch of Sand Soldiers and gives everything vulnerable on your opponent's side of the board? Doesn't really see too much play, and I swear, does it give everyone vulnerable? Anyway, that one doesn't really see much play. I don't know whether or not this one's going to be worth the while. 4 damage is the only thing that would be, but there's a lot of things to get past 4 damage. So I do like the idea of it, because it is another damage spell in Shurima, but it is damage spell which is yet again slow speed. I believe that all of Shurima's damagey kind of things are, because like obviously you got the bonk spell with the siphoning strike. There is the one which does like Weight of Judgment, which does 7 damage or 2 damage depending on whether it's a champion or follower. I believe all of those are slow speed. So yeah, again, it's slow speed stuff for Shurima, and you don't really see many of those removals being used because they are slow speed. Because what you need are things that can react quickly, like into a quick attack, or into into an open attack, or into whatever. So I don't know how useful that card will be, but I do like the fact that at least Shurima's got another avenue of just a damage spell in general. For 6 mana though, I don't know, and I guess that does give you 2 blockers, but it is slow speed, so that's what I mean by am I really convinced? It's interesting, but I don't know. So we go on to a 1 cost Shurima card, which is the Treasure Seeker, which is the when I'm summoned, create a Waking Sands in hand. I cannot remember what the hell Waking Sands is. Okay, so the Waking Sands is that one which is the spell which gives you the ephemeral 5/2. Okay, now I understand. So actually, yeah, so there is actually a slight chance of that, because it is for tempo, not a bad, like a 1 cost to throw in, as well as the fact that it will be giving you like a summon card, which is like 5/2 damage, which you could either use on your attack or potentially defensively, like obviously because it forces your opponent not to do an attack, because like, I don't want to sacrifice something to 5 damage, or on your attack you're getting 5 damage, whereas obviously I guess it helps Azir because it's you're summoning a unit. But let's face it, like, what Waking Sands on its own doesn't get used that much, but this unit, a card which is like creating another copy of it, potentially does have some viability there, because of the fact that if you've still got this unit on the board at the end of the day. So actually not a bad thing at all. It's also a creation card, so maybe making you think about Victor with Shurima, because there are actually a few creation things in shurima, but it's just another one which will create another card. So potentially, don't know, but it is actually a nice little tempo play of a 2-1 on turn 1, which is going to give you a 5-2 as well. So actually not a bad card at all. 5 mana burst speed. The time has come! I mean, already the title's got me in terms of, I need to move myself to one side here, because there we go. The time has come! Is this thing. Summon a Clockling, which is the 2-2. If you predicted this game, summon 2 instead. So basically for 5 mana, you'd be getting 2/2s if you've predicted this game. I mean, I guess it is burst speed, so this is the equivalent of jerry rigs in P&Z, which are like obviously the 1/1s. So and also risen mists in Shadow Isles. But the idea of like obviously, so you could do this, go into an open attack with 2/2s potentially, so getting that like aggro if needed, if the boards are clear. Yeah, again, like it's definitely a card which I find interesting. Whether or not it will see play or not, I do not know, but it is a card which obviously I said like can summon 2/2s, which like can be used as blockers as well. Like, obviously, most of the time I use Jerry Rig as a blocker rather than as on the offensive. So this actually still gives you like 2 blockers if you're running a predict deck, which is not too bad to try and like save your life at the end of the day. It is 1 less mana than using 2 Arises if like like 2 Sand Soldiers. Plus they've got a better stat line and they're not ephemeral, so they will stay on the board if you can put them in front of good trades. So potentially not too bad. Plus I just love anything to do with these little like sand timers. Anyway, let us move on to the next page and see, because like obviously we've got to see some Bilgewater cards as well as another PNC book. Oh my god, it's actually an Elnuk. No, Gomez, don't distract yourself with the fact that there's an Elnuk on the end. We will get to that. It's not in Freljord, so it's kind of trapped up, but to be fair, Elnuks work best in PNZ anyway for the copy mechanics and whatnot. We'll get there. Don't look at it, Gomez. 5, I know how much of your mind wants to, but don't do it. With 5 mana landmark here, which here with this in terms of Bilgewater, when I count down, so wait, when I count down, summon a random 1 cost, count down for 2, grant 1 cost allies, so, and fearsome. So this is looking like something that you're kind of going to be wanting to play if you were to make potentially a Fizz 1 cost deck where you're running like technically this could even be in what's his face, right? This could be like, so Fizz with the Taskmaster to be able to like get a lot of value off of these 1 cost units. I'm just trying to think, why is my mind like not telling me what else I want to tell, what would you want to say in terms of this? Because it says like when I count down, so you're getting 2 1 costs out of the landmark anyway, and then it's going to be giving +2/+1 plus fearsome. If you were to maybe run this in Shurima, so that you've got like there is actually some nice 1 cost options in Shurima, even like another 1 cost that they've now given us as being here, potentially being able to do that. It won't really work with Sand Soldiers because obviously they're going to be ephemeral and it's only granting which ones are on the board. It's not like a continuous grant like all of your 1 costs everywhere. Themes you like the Taskmaster is, which is what I'm saying, like PNC Taskmaster kind of build. But there are actually a number of good 1 costs in both regions, as well as they do have the double trouble spell and jailbreak and whatnot. So there is actually the potential of like getting this and then using Promising Future on top of this, which should mean that it's going to be granting which is like a +4/+2 if you get a Promising Future to make that double up, which can be quite aggressive, especially if you've got Fizz on the board to begin with. Like in terms of like, you know, Fizz is an annoying unit, or annoying champion to try and deal with spells. You have to have a spell which like affects everyone to be able to get rid of him. So I can see potential of this. Like there's a lot of 1 costy things in like things which support 1 costy things in Bilgewater. So potentially this might see some play. Obviously like maybe a Fizz Zo deck, there was like a little bit of like elusiveness going on there. So we'll see how it does. I actually like the idea of this landmark and I want to build a deck around it, trying to see what the best way of doing this is. So actually, yes, I do love this. Light them up, or line them up, sorry, by which it 2 mana burst speed, summon a powder keg. So summon a powder keg on burst speed, which I think this is the first time we've had a keg on burst speed. Most things to get kegs are summoning a unit or so summoning unit like Gangplank, the petty officer slash the other 2-cost one who summons a barrel, the powder keg one, which is like summon 2 of them, but yet again it's a slow speed spell from what I remember. So this is the first burst speed. Give yourself a keg and then create a knock 'em down in hand. And knock 'em down is just deal 1 damage to everyone, which technically with what's his face, with this on the board would be 2 damage to everyone, that keg on its own. Bearing in mind that this is a burst speed card, so technically you could use this multiple times to get that keg up. Obviously you'll be getting this spell multiple times, so the first one's gonna matter, unless you are running unyielding kegs or a Shadow Isles deck whereby you're running the, well, I can't think of the name of it right now, the Lamb's Respite, to be able to keep it alive yet again while you let all those things go off. Like, anything that supports a good keg deck is not actually that bad, and so this is actually quite a nice little thing to add in. A burst speed way of getting kegs on the board is not bad, considering the fact that like they can be quite hard to keep and maintain on the board. Like the second that you play them, you're basically having to play a damage spell immediately to be able to get value off of them because people target them immediately. So not bad having a burst speed way of getting a keg onto the board. I really do like this. This is amazing. Now let's get on to that last card, Gomez. The last card where we move your face, where it is an Elnuk card. We've been waiting for a new Elnuk card to enter the game for years. since like I don't think we've ever had a new. Did we ever had a new Elnuk card? I think it's only been the 2, right? Unless I'm right, massive mistake. But anyway, we got Poros and Yetis, which it recently, so of course they're going to give us an Elnuk, but this Elnuk is not in Freljord like it is with like their other brothers, so it is a free cost, free form. When I'm summoned, create a random Elnuk in the top 6 cards of your deck. Now we know that there's that one which draws, is it from the top 5 or top 10? Like, I can't remember what that one is. Like, basically that one which summons every Elnuk that's in the top so many cards of your deck. PNZ, like the reason why PNZ actually was used with Elnuks in the past was because it has that ability to copy through counterfeit copies and such to be able to get more in, and then using that card which summons all the Elnuks on the top whatever the hell cards of your deck is quite nice. This is a summon effect, because bearing in mind that other unit is a play effect from what I remember. Like when you played them, it summons all the Elnuks from the top, whatever. So the fact this is a summon one, which means that like if that unit goes down, then summons this is still creating a random Elnuk or like on the top 6 cards of your deck. So it's going to be creating one of the three Elnuks, one of which has just got like a really good stats in general, and the other one which is the summon, which if you're like get all the Elnuks that you've got. So I definitely want to play around with this and try and make a viable Elnuk deck. It never happens, and every single time I say I want to make it happen, it never happens properly, but I cannot wait to damn well give this a go with this new PNZ card. But I'm so glad they've added a new Elnuk, but also PNZ spell-wise, I'm so happy about this Glorious Evolution one. All of these cards are amazing, but I want to know what you think, so let me know down in the comment section down below what you think about all these cards, as well as obviously shameless plug time. Twitch, Twitter and Instagram, if you didn't know already, I do stream on Twitch on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, so you want to come catch the action live, please feel free to. I love it when people come over and go, hey, I saw your stuff on YouTube, and I'll come over to say hi. Like, honestly, it does like lift my spirits whenever I'm streaming, as well as I said, a Discord link down below if you want to get in there, start creating this lovely community of crazy deck builders, crazy meme deck builders. That's what Gomez focuses on. So if this sounds like fun to you, or just talking about new cards and decks in general, why not consider joining that Discord so that you could all have a good time together trying to work things out. I'm in there as well as obviously, like, you know, just thank you so much for everyone who watches my content, comments and subscribes. If you've not already subscribed and enjoyed your way through, why not consider hitting that subscribe button, but do not feel forced to. I have got an end of year goal of hitting 5,000 followers / subscribers, but do not feel forced into anything along those lines. Thank you so much for watching. I shall see you hopefully tomorrow for more reveals. Until next time, bye. From flash of brilliance that could save me. Save me! That doesn't save me. Okay. Is there anything from you? Save me. That doesn't save me! Okay. Get rid of this and get rid of this. Find something that can save me.